Happy Tuesday night. We're back alone. All right, let's get a computer up and running here. And here comes my screen. And I remember to turn the volume off. So let's see if y'all. Finley the dog says 5x5. Guys, make sure I'm not fuzzy. Make sure you can hear me clearly. Let's get that straight. H says 5x5. Harbor 5x5. Let's see. Robert. I don't know what North Shore is saying about a text. It wasn't to me. Okay, also 5x5. Okay. All right, good. You guys can hear me. So, all right. Note to self. If this eye looks a little funky, I've been saving and dehydrating jalapenos all day and saving seeds. And 5 minutes ago, I made the mistake of touching the corner of my eye. Oops, not a good idea. So, no, I'm fine. Don't have any video communicable diseases, but yeah, I just touched my eye, so it's a little watery there. So, today's going to be an interesting night, I guess, after we all get up. Hopefully tonight we will finally find out that Liz Cheney has been officially relegated to the proverbial dustbin of politics. I still get such a kick out of all the comments. Oh, she's going to run for president. Yeah, right. Okay, good. Run for president all you want. Take votes away from whatever Democrat, because there ain't a freaking Republican in the world who's going to vote for that. See you next Tuesday. But then Lisa Murkowski, the other rhino that's up tonight, get rid of her, but she's not going to be gone. Alaska started this ranking system for voting or whatever, so even if she finishes second to Kelly Shibaka, something, I can't pronounce her name, Shiba, she'll still be on the ballot, so who knows. But yeah, there's another one we got to get rid of. So bring in a true conservative. But at least we should be done with Liz Cheney, and she'll go get her job on CNN or something like that, and then nobody will ever hear from her again. Get rid of her disgusting father. I love that. Trump is the biggest national security threat in the world. Yeah, spoken from a guy who started two wars and shot somebody in the face. Yeah, okay. There you go. But yeah, that was the major excitement. I wanted to welcome 2 new moderators to the group. We're getting a little busy, so Cat Lady Life and Mammy K have joined the moderator team here, along with North Shore, Robert, Jacob, Lucky Dame, and Lorna. So we now have 7 people in here to take the trash out. And I mean, I know Mammy K's skills, if you will, from Constantine's live stream, so no worries there. And I've known Cat Lady Life on the channel here for a couple of years, so I have the utmost confidence in both of them to go with the five people already that we had, that you guys know that they are absolutely wonderful. So thank you to all 7 of them for taking time out of their Tuesday to keep this a nice, clean, friendly, non-ghetto live stream. So it's been interesting lately, so we'll just leave it at that. But want to keep this as a good place for people to come share fellowship, camaraderie, get some information, share some information, and leave all the crap out of it. So I saw somebody prepping survival. Non-ghetto, do I have to leave? No. But yeah. So, we'll get right into Q&A tonight. It's actually been a relatively slow news day. I mean, other than Biden signing the $739 billion debacle, though I want to give you one thing on this. This is going to be interesting. He gave a speech afterwards, and of course, the only way Joe can give a speech is if he takes both shoes out of his mouth. That way he's only got one foot in his mouth. Remember George Bush? Read my lips, no new taxes. And remember what happened to him with the election? He lost to Bill Clinton, and specifically everybody pointed to that comment because then he raised taxes. Biden's comment today, quote, "I'm keeping my campaign commitment. No one, No one earning less than $400,000 a year will pay a penny more in federal taxes, Biden said. Except there's a little problem with this. First off, they nixed Mike Crapo, he's a Republican from Idaho, nixed his amendment to put that in there, okay? But what this does also do is adds the 15% business tax, minimum 15% tax for businesses. And everybody goes, oh, that's good. Amazon and GE going to pay 15%. So is Joe's Hardware. So is Mary's Beauty Salon. Does Mary's Beauty Salon make $400,000 a year? Does Joe's Hardware store make $400,000 a year? Nope. Guess what? They now have a 15% minimum tax. Hey, Joe, you've already lied. Your Inflation Reduction Act raised taxes on the middle class. Get ready for the George Bush treatment. And if you don't think that there's not a Republican out there or an independent out there or a libertarian out there that's going to jump all over that quote for the next 2 years, you're sadly mistaken. All right. Let's get into Q&A. As per normal, guys, keep it PG-13, keep it family-friendly in here. Plenty of moderators, but let's let them enjoy the night, too, and not be stupid. No questions off limits. As usual, I ask everybody to please, if you've got a question for me, please put it in all caps, just like every other YouTube channel, just so I can see it. There's 1,200 and some odd of you guys in here now. We'll probably get up to close to 2,000 here shortly. That's the only way I can see them all. I try to get to as many questions as I can. I apologize that I don't get to them all. It's just time constraints, and like I said, there's a lot more of you guys than there are me. But please keep it family friendly. Treat each other with respect. Treat each other the way you want to be treated. If you want to treat other people like shit, there's plenty of channels out there that you can go do that on. So, all right, let's get into this. Let me scroll to the top just so you guys know too. Comments do get removed from the top. So, if you posted something 15 minutes ago or whatever it is, half an hour ago, 2 hours ago when I put the live stream up, it's not there anymore. I can't see it. So if you haven't heard me answer your question, please post it again. Lorna, pinball does not wear the fedora on Tuesday nights. No, the fedora is Saturday night was started as hat night a couple of years ago, and I just kept it going. Sunshine, we're voting Murkowski out too. I hope she's gone. The only thing, like I said, because of the ranked rating system, even if she finishes second, she'll still be on the ballot in November. And, the other thing is, remember in 2010 when she got elected originally, she was a write-in candidate because she lost the primary and still won. So that one we'll wait and see. But yes, I'm hoping to God you guys vote her out because she's a piece of trash as well. Let's see. Beth Elliott actually had door-to-door this week trying to sell Tupperware. I've not seen that in years for anything. Wow. Next thing we know, we're going to have vacuum cleaner salesmen coming along. I've heard of Tupperware parties, and my ex-wife used to do, Pampered Chef parties and stuff like that, but go to them, not do anything. She just go spend money. That was her life's mission, to spend more money than we had. Hence why she's my ex-wife. But somebody coming door to door, that's funny. Let's see. Somebody just popped in and I missed it. I apologize. Let's see if I can find it real quick because it's not showing up on the top of the screen. Southern Prepper 3, thank you for the super chat here. Did a video about my seeds and some other potential ideas. Other preppers thought it was good. Hope you had a chance to see it. I haven't done much of anything. I've been stuck over the kitchen sink all day. Speaking of seeds, like I said with the jalapenos, I've been working very diligently on seed saving, and a lot more than just for me. I'm trying to put together bags and bags and bags of seeds. So when I'm done, I can let you guys know and we'll get something going. on how to get some seeds out to people. So that's what I'm working on. So I apologize, but I'm trying to do it for you guys too. All right. Oh God, Robert Miller, Liz Cheney on The View. Well, it's fine. Nobody watches the show anyway. They get more eyeballs when they say something stupid by a video clip on YouTube because God knows nobody watches it. Mama Preps Forest is hi from Montana. Porch Goose Prepper, welcome to new and old mods. There you go. Yes, thank you for welcoming them into the trenches here. So sometimes I don't think they know what they get themselves into, but all right. I'm looking. Brandy, thank you for the super chat. Did I see monkeypox transferred to dogs? What's their agenda? Yes, I've seen it, and I've seen some, let's put it this way, not so nice comments. You know, apparently the dog contracted monkeypox from sleeping in bed with a gay couple. Okay. That's as far as I'm willing to believe. There's other questionable sites that say more, and I'm not going there with that. You know, there's a new one out there now. I forget what it's called. I got it. I saw an article on it today. Another National Institute of Health virus again being created, and you know, creating the vaccine for it. After, of course, they create the virus, but we'll see what it is. Like I said, that's all new news. I've got to do a lot more research before I figure out if that's even legit. So, Buzzard Prepper says, I saw Sleepy Joe sign the infrastructure bill into law. You talked about that at the top real quick. Nana K, can I use cedar in a hen house? I don't see why not. The only thing is cedar's not going to be the greatest wood for if you're going to try to use the chicken manure in your garden, because cedar's not really good about decomposing. So Sunset Pinball, can we timeshare your friend? I want Monday through Sunday. Smartass. Nice. Yes, I know a few of you guys have emailed me. I've forwarded on your emails. That's between you guys. I'm not playing matchmaker here. So, let's see. Jen Boyles, I'm swimming in peaches over here. I'm jealous because we had all sorts of flowers on our peach tree this year, and then we got a frost afterwards. So I don't have a single peach this year. Would love to have some peaches, but I will wait till next year. We haven't had squat for fruit this year because of that freeze. We've picked a few figs, but our fig tree is only a couple of years old, so we've got that. The plum trees haven't set fruit. The pear tree, we had one pear on it, and the birds got it. And the peach tree was toast. And the apple trees and the cherry trees, I got one cherry, but I mean, they're still young trees, if you will. David McGregor, thank you for the super chat. Let's see. Can't get out of the city without private mortgage. I got to read this on the computer. I can't do it on the phone. Can't get out of city without private mortgage, 8%. Jeez. Would you take the risk of getting out of the city with a private non-bank mortgage to get away? Parent of an 11-year-old. Thanks for any advice. Okay. I went back, if you go back, this has got to be a couple of months ago, and I compared what we got going on right now with 1973, 1974. And what happened back then is the Fed got aggressive in raising rates and then had to completely turn tail and cut rates. I have a strong suspicion that we are going to do the same thing. Now, if you're going to do this, plan on having to or wanting to refinance in a couple of years or even a year. And of course, that means all new closing costs and everything like that. That's the only issue. What I would say there, if you find a property that you can get for a steal, go for it. if you're going to pay market price at 8%, ain't no way. No, you're setting yourself up to a year from now going, I'm getting foreclosed upon, or I've got to short sell my house. Uh, yeah, unless you can find a property that's freaking dirt cheap. I mean, somebody sent me one today. It was what, 60 some odd acres for $250,000. It had a house on it. I'm like, I don't care if you bulldoze the house. It's $4,000 an acre. Unless the land is contaminated, yeah, that I'd jump all over. But if you got $250,000, or a $250,000 note. But the advantage to that one is there's a house on it, so you could get a note and bulldoze it, because financing a house and property is totally different than just financing land. So you guys know that. Land usually requires at least 50% down to finance. So there's a house on it, 3% FHA, 0% down VA loan, even if you want a conventional mortgage, 10% or whatever, you're still there. But land is 50%. So yeah, you're, yeah, I'm gonna stick to what I said. If you can get it for a steal and plan on refinancing, go for it. If you can't, do not pay full price. All right, let's go back to where we were. Pighead Water Buffalo, I saw your question before. Have I ever raised sugar beets and made sugar? No, I have not made sugar, but yes, I have raised sugar beets. But I don't break them down to just sugar or anything like that. I don't. One thing that I'm considering growing next year, because you got down far south, you can grow sugar cane. A lot of other places, the rest of us could grow sorghum, which you could process into sugar and everything. What I'm looking at possibly growing is stevia. Now if you've seen the stuff on the shelves, it's not artificial. I mean, it's a natural sweetener, but it's a no-calorie sweetener. It's basically the plant. It's also a perennial. Okay, so you can plant this, and I was doing research on it about a week or so ago, because yes, I'm already making my plans for next year's garden. But I was looking at planting some stevia because I believe it was either just drying it or dehydrating it, the leaves, and that's where you're getting your sweetener from. So that's something else to look at, that, other than sugar beets, sugar cane, sweetener, or whatever it would be. Let's see. Not that I use a lot of sugar, but Mrs. P is a tea drinker, and so she likes sugar in her tea. So that's why I'm looking at the sweeteners. Texas asks, tonight the raffle for your friend. I've been watching to see if he jumps in. I have not seen him jump in yet, so we'll see. Camp 4 Low, I believe that is. I started Amaranth down here in Baja. Have you checked it out? I don't know what Amaranth is, and no, I have not checked it out. So that would, considering I don't know what it is, that would be a good reason why. JD Paul, what are my thoughts on China's economy collapsing? Would the U.S. use this as an act for war? I don't think so. Okay, and I'll say this for both parties. I don't think the U.S. has any sort of ambition to take over China, where China has the ambition to take over the world. Okay, as much as we want it, by we I mean our government wants to nation build, I don't think we want the responsibility of being ruling. I mean, indirectly, yes. Okay, it sure seems like we want puppets in there, but not where China wants to just have the United States. As China's economy collapsing could put us in a precarious situation. Okay, and again, this is because of both parties, and for the last 50 years, shipping anything and everything they can in the way of manufacturing to China. if China shuts us off, guys, we don't get any more exports from China. Nothing else is coming in. We're in trouble because there's not a whole lot we can make. Everybody says, oh, but the United States has all the technology and silicon. Do you realize 90% of the semiconductors in the world come out of Taiwan? Okay. Taiwan, they go into this one China policy. China takes over Taiwan. Guess what? There's only 10% of the semiconductors left. Can we start producing semiconductors? Sure. You build a plant like that? No. This is the thing. Go into Walmart, go into the grocery store, and start looking at everything. Go around your house and look at everything that's got a made in China sticker on it, okay? And say, can't have this, can't have this, can't have this, can't have that. And look at what's left in your house and you go, dust bunnies. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think we'd declare war on China by any means. I think we'd be so foobar ourselves trying to figure out how to keep our economy afloat at that point. That would be the only thing that would be concerning. Fortitude Farm, do I foresee Social Security or disability checks being taken away? The last I heard out of Social Security was Social Security said they're going to run out of money or start running out of money in 2034, I believe. And at that point, they're going to start paying out 70% of what your entitlement is. Okay. I'm going to take a guess that's going to go right along the lines with SSDI. It all depends. If we have a communist socialist takeover, which the Democrat Party certainly wants, yeah, absolutely. They're going to take your disability, they're going to take your Social Security, and they're going to go, oh, now we're just rolling that into UBI, and here's your $1,000 a month that you get like everybody else does. Live on it. Okay, that's it. The biggest problem that everybody always has with Social Security is that's not their money. That's our money. We put that there, okay? Not taxes. It was a mandatory savings program that the Nixon administration flipped into the Democrats during the Nixon administration, decided to take the money out of the Social Security Trust Fund and put it in the general fund, and then they proceeded to go and spend it all. So while it used to be a savings account, now it's a Ponzi scheme. Now, all the Gen Zers and millennials and stuff like that have to pay for the boomers and soon enough my generation. Well, the problem is there aren't enough, they're all working as baristas or professional video game players. There isn't enough money going into it. So yeah, there's going to be a big problem with Social Security and SSDI, and I think it's going to happen a lot sooner than 2034. Ann Palmer, have I ever planted olive trees? No, I have not. So I can't say anything about them. Mama G's Prep and Garden. Got to know how much whiskey was drunk with your brother. Absolutely zero. He had 3 beers at the house, and we went up to the marina, and he had 3 beers there, and I stuck with my non-alcoholic beer here at the house and when I went to the bar because I was the one driving, and that way both of us got home safe. So, yeah. No whiskey, and for me, there wasn't even any beers. So, Brown Thumb Gardener here. Suggestions where to buy seed potatoes for next year. Well, you're not going to buy them till the spring. And as silly as this is, I get mine from the grocery outlet here, at least my Kennebecks, because they're local. There's probably some guy who's got a potato farm around here or whatever, and he sells them in there. Go to your local co-op, or something like that. Do not, please, waste the money on buying them online. I did it once, and I'm like, this is ridiculous how much I spent, okay? I got the same amount of potatoes at the grocery store. Don't get them at the grocery store. It's different. I'm talking, these were specifically for growing potatoes. Because the ones at the grocery store have been sprayed with a growth inhibitor so they don't sprout. but these were specific. But I spent like $6 on what I needed here, where I spent like 90 ordering them online. So find something local, a local co-op, or any ag place or anything like that, a Rural King, a Tractor Supply. You'll find them there. That would be a better place to do it, because chances are they're going to come from a local place, and you're going to have much better success growing potatoes that are acclimatized to your local area. LJ Mac, do I ever eat the leaves off the sweet potato plants? Sometimes. I mean, it's like the same thing with the beets. I mean, we'll stir fry it a little bit or whatever it is. I mean, occasionally, but it's not like, oh my God, I'm saving all the leaves from the sweet potatoes. It's like, all right, maybe you want to go out and try it once a year or something. That's about the extent. Okie Egg, are we going to be able to utilize cash throughout the winter? Okay, this obviously I did a video on Friday on Joe's executive order from March, and there were people that, I disagree. We're absolutely going to, CBDC, and I'm just going to say this. Just like we're absolutely going to go to electric cars, exactly the same scenario. There aren't the charging stations for electric cars all over the road, just like there aren't little processing machines, like a credit card processing machine, at any retailers or anywhere to put it into play. There ain't no infrastructure. It's not happening, okay? And as much as all these wannabe uber liberal, we're going to digital, Bitcoin's the future. Fine. Talk to me in 5-10 years, then we'll talk about it, okay? But December, not happening. Charles, I'm going to have to read this here. Charles, thank you for the super chat. Do the chemicals from treated lumber leach into the soil or veggies that are in a raised bed frame made from treated lumber? Okay, so here's the difference on that. They've changed the chemicals that they use to treat lumber. The stuff that they used to use, I believe, was arsenic. And what they use now is not, I want to say this without, it's not as bad. Let's put it this way, not nearly as bad. If you're going to use treated lumber for gardening, if you're going to make it out of good, find heat treated lumber. Okay, that would be the best way to go. That will last the longest. It's still treated, but the stuff that's got the green in it, personally, I would not recommend it. Absolutely do not use railroad ties. Okay, you could use logs. They'll rot. They'll actually help the garden a little bit as they rot. You can use rocks, whatever would be. But if you're going to use dimensional lumber, try to find heat treated dimensional lumber. That's probably your best bet in the long haul. Robert Miller, how to keep Sasquatch from stealing tomatoes and corn. I haven't been in your garden. No. I'm assuming you're meaning something probably along the lines of like raccoons or something like that. I've said many times, you're going to have to expect 10 to 20% loss. I mean, even though I put Billy's bone sauce out by my corn to keep the deer away from the sweet potatoes and the corn, I still had right on the edge, maybe about 6 years, that you could tell the deer got in my garden and ate about half the ear of corn when we picked it a few weeks ago. You're gonna have to expect loss. Farmers plan for loss. 10 to 20% is fair to go. Do you want to keep them out? Sure, but you can try every trick in the book. There's those motion detector sprinklers that work well. The scarecrow idea. How many times have you seen a crow sitting on the arms of a scarecrow? But it's got to be something with motion. The pie pans, that'll help a little bit, but that's more for birds. Deer, you're going to keep more like noise, stuff like that out there. So I wish I had a good answer. There isn't one. It's the eternal question of gardeners: how to keep critters out of the yard. Prep Rebel Pinball. We're not all as tall as you. Most people aren't. I actually ran into a guy the other day when we went to the marina who was actually an inch taller than me. I'm like, damn, he's taller than me. He's like, yep, he is. Uh, Winona Halen, how does the screen from the TV work for starting fires? What part do you take it off? I'm going to do a video on this probably sometime this week. But I mean, literally, it's just like a big magnifying glass. I mean, how it, same way it puts the picture on the old school TVs. It's just like a big magnifying glass, but it's a lot freaking easier than trying to sit there with a little magnifying glass. I'll show you sometime this week. Don Oliver, what do I think about 2023? We got 5 months to go in 2022 yet. I'll tell you that on New Year's Eve. I can't even go that far yet. I mean, the next 85 days or whatever it is are going to be insane. And then whatever happens after that is going to really tell the tale for what's going to happen forward. So, I mean, I can't even begin to guess. I got to see what happens first. Donna Garcia, rainwater. Anybody experiencing contaminated water? Interesting. Contaminated by, how do you know it's contaminated? I mean, what are you getting? Acid rain, or I mean, when it's what's in it that's contaminating it? I mean, certainly we know that there's aluminum in the atmosphere because good old Uncle Sam's putting it there. But yeah, what do you mean by contaminated specifically? Smoking Swamp Outdoors. Hey, Pinball, question. What's the word going around about another airplane with government officials already going to or already been to Taiwan again? Oh, they're already there. They landed there yesterday, I believe it was. Ed Markey, the moron from Massachusetts, is leading another delegation, which of course pissed the Chinese off again. And to make it even worse, this was an unannounced trip, so they tried to sneak into Taiwan in the dark of night. And of course, the Chinese, as soon as the Taiwanese had announced it, the Chinese started all the military drills again. So, yeah, there's something, some of these people have a lot of financial interest. These Democrats have a lot of financial interest in Taiwan, and that's what's going on. This is like, how can I use my government position to improve the financial condition of my wallet? That's, if you think this is diplomatic, it ain't. Okay, this is Hunter Biden-esque corruption. Sweet Leaf Pinball, up in Canada, had a dream you were selling pawpaw seedlings. Nice to meet you in the dream. Great. Okay. And we go to the bottom. Let's see where we are here. Okay. 5-acre gardener. Do I know if organic potatoes are sprayed with the inhibitor? They should not be, because they're organic again. And again, I mean, go into Whole Foods or whatever, and you ask them, and you've got some kid with purple hair going, I don't think so, I don't know. They're not going to know. What I would do with something like that, maybe even now, go to the store, buy one organic potato, and see if you can chit it. Get the eyes to start growing. Do it now. If you can, then they're not sprayed. Okay. If you can't, then not to go out and buy a whole bunch of them in the spring. It's the same thing with when you're saving seeds. Plant a couple of them now, just in seed pods, and see if they germinate. If they don't, your seeds weren't ready. Okay, no need to save them. You need to get more. Because the last thing you want to do is wait till next year, and let's say it's March 1st when you're planting your seeds. You plant them, and they're supposed to germinate in 10 to 15 days. Well, now March 15th, you realize none of the seeds were any good. Now you're already 2 weeks behind. So, always when you're saving seeds, do a test on a seed or two and see if they come up. I know some people say do a lot more because maybe you just got two bad seeds, but yeah, okay. Oh, is Jack in here? I see Okie Forge saying good day to us. Auslander Info. If you guys saw it today, Auslander Info Jack got thrown in YouTube jail. So he's posting on Rumble, and I believe he's got a backup channel set up now. So if you follow Jack, which I highly recommend, because you're going to get straight talk from him just like you get from me, except with an Aussie accent. Go check that out. Lady C says, I grew potatoes 2 years in a row using potatoes from the supermarket. I mean, yeah, and like I said, plant them and check them to see what you get. Depends on the supermarket, what you get. I mean, like I said, my grocery outlet is where I get them. Would I go into Kroger and buy them? Probably not. D Freak, my pharmacy said meds are on back order. They're a very common med. 3 months without and I will die. Luckily, I have 11 months already. Yeah, okay. And there's one to really think about as well. The majority of our medicines, if nobody says, oh, I get them from a Canadian pharmacy, that's great. The majority of the medicines you have are made in either China or India. Okay, so just to give you an idea where the stuff you're putting in your body comes from, yeah. Cut off the supply chain from China, we cut off the medicine supply. And well, some medicines are not life or death, you know, blood pressure or cholesterol or something like that, you might be able to treat in alternate ways. There's some meds that you need the chemical medication. Rice-A-Roni, organic potatoes will grow. Heck, these days they sprout in a week. Okay, good to know. I don't go to organic grocery stores, anything like that. So that's why I said buy one, take a shot at it, make sure it works. You know, if you're telling me they do, okay, maybe you can avoid the buy one, but either way. Dave Potter says, I bought a 3-pound bag. There were a bunch of seed potatoes in it. Okay. I mean, I remember back in, you know, when I was a kid and Mom would buy a bag of potatoes and it would be sprouting like crazy sitting in the pantry. Okay. Lately, I mean, I can't remember seed potatoes sprouting at all, or I'm sorry, store-bought potatoes sprouting at all sitting in the pantry in the last 10 years. But not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying plant, you know, try to chip one and make sure it works before, again, losing all that time that you're not going to get back. Wyoming Yeti, lots of caffeine to cheer Harriet on in Wyoming. Woo, woo, woo. I could care less if it was Mickey Mouse. Just get that witch out of there. Let's see. Short Bus 68, have I checked my yard on edibles for foraging? I've got it for medicinal purposes. That I know. I mean, sure, I get dandelions and stuff like that. I could make dandelion tea or dandelion salad. Yes, I could get that. Fortunately, the edibles I get, I mean, I've got fruit trees and berry bushes and obviously my annual gardens and stuff like that. So fortunately, I've got that. Is it enough? Nope. You know, that's why I will keep doing more. And, you know, those goji berries, I'm going to add mushrooms, you know, different things like that. And I know people go, oh, gee, that's not a whole lot. Variety is going to be huge, guys. Okay. You're going to get real sick on rice and beans real fast. Yeah. Johnny Finance saying avoiding railroad ties with creosote. Exactly. Romy Davis has finally got some rain in San Antonio. I mean, the funny part, I said to Mrs. P the other day, and you know, maybe some of you guys can relate, maybe you can't. May and June sucked. It was just like drought here. July and August, we've got a decent rain at least once a week. I haven't had a water or anything in 2 months, okay, because we get enough rain. And I'm like, since when in July and August we get rain, and in May and June we don't, you know? But yeah, I mean, it's like my garden, a lot of my garden is coming to an end. I mean, the cukes, the pickles are done. The peppers are still producing like crazy. They'll produce. Tomatoes are dying off. Those are coming to the end of life here. And yes, I have indeterminate tomatoes, but it's just they're and it's fine because I mean we've processed so many tomatoes. Mrs. P put one on my plate for dinner last night. I looked at this. Do I want to eat another tomato right now? But it is what it is. You know, there's going to be plenty of time in the future where I'm going to go, thank God, another tomato. Brandon says use galvanized steel. I'm assuming you're talking about for the beds. Yeah, I mean, galvanized steel would be great, you know, like those Birdie's beds or, you know, whatever would be. The problem is those things are expensive. You know, you're talking a couple of $100 for a, you know, what, 2x4 deal. I mean, I got little horse trough, if you will, that we bathe the dogs in, and it cost me $100, I think $120 or whatever. And I mean, it's a foot high and what, maybe about 2x3, you know. But I need something big enough to wash dogs in because I don't want to wash them in the house. You know, when you're on a septic system, a lot of dog hair going down the drain is not a good idea. So, but yeah, it's like galvanized steel would be great if you could find, you know, put stakes in the ground and put the galvanized steel up against them. Sure, that might work. That would work well. You know, if you can find pieces of galvanized steel, you could even look at pieces of metal roofing. Would be another good way to do it that way. It's not as strong, but metal roofing primarily is aluminum. Tom Larson used cedar again, but that gets extremely expensive. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing all my, I mean, the gardens I did with the brick was bad enough. I probably would have paid even twice as much to do my gardens if I was putting cedar boards out there. Roddy's rule, rubber buckshot does a wonderful job running them away. Yes, if you see them, okay? And, you know, most critters are going into your that are eating your garden are going in at night. You know, eventually we're going to be out running guard duty on our gardens. I ain't doing it yet. So, Tanya V says a solar powered fence works great around the garden. I saw somebody had one of those a couple of days ago. We were driving around and I saw somebody who had an electric fence that was solar powered. And the little solar panel was only, you know, this big or whatever. So, Rooster says, look back in chat about flashing lights for garden pests. I'm hoping he's talking to you guys because I'm not going to start trying to look for it. So, but yeah, I saw there was somebody, I don't remember where I saw this, I think it was today. Somebody said something about Christmas lights and putting those up in your garden, you know, the flashing lights. Yeah, I can see it work. Might irritate the crap out of your neighbors at night, but you know, depends on where you live. Storm Rider, will Billy's bone sauce last until next spring? What's its shelf life? I can't find the answer. I would absolutely say, you know, go ask Billy and see what it is. I'm going to put some, I just put it around my sweet potatoes, which are next to where my corn was. I haven't had any deer in my sweet potatoes. So I will say, and the corn was right next to it. The deer got into some of the corn 8 feet away from the sweet potatoes, but they didn't touch the sweet potatoes. So, but I don't know if it's something that I've got to redo. I will probably redo it. Well, I know I'm going to redo it because crop rotation. I'm going to move where my sweet potatoes are next year. So, Romy Davis, if you have a dog or a cat, if so, brush their hair and take the hair out, put it into your garden areas. Yeah, that will help. Hair is also good. Turn it into compost. Okay, something else you can compost. It's good in nitrogen. Don't quote me on that. Maybe it's not nitrogen. I'm sorry. But yeah, the smell of the dog, that is what you're using there. Carol, what will people do that can't afford an electric car when they stop gas vehicles? And again, this is the same thing. We aren't going to see the end of gas vehicles in our lifetime. I mean, I will be long since in the ground when there aren't any more gas vehicles. For the simple reason is there's 300, what was it? 295 million cars in the United States, plus trucks, plus farm equipment, plus airplanes, plus tanks, plus, military vehicles and everything like that. We don't have the infrastructure. We can't fix the grid, okay, to give people more reliable energy to electrify their house. Can you imagine the pressure on the grid to charge 295 million cars? It's all fine and dandy. These are all pipe dreams. This is all stuff that the Democrats say to appease the environmental terrorists that are out there because they want their vote. They have no intention of doing it. And then you get the stupidity of some of these companies. I mean, if you saw today, Dodge came out, and Dodge is going to discontinue the Charger and the Challenger so they can make electric vehicles instead. Get woke, go broke. Okay? Your two popular selling cars, you're going to get rid of those to build something that nobody wants and nobody likes and is inefficient. Okay? So a couple of years from now, when we're all bailing out Dodge again, this will be why. But they're not getting rid of gas-powered cars. It ain't happening. Not in our lifetime. I will tell you that right now. It is not feasible to do it. I mean, how? Oh, you can charge your car at your house. Great. What was I supposed to do if I want to go on vacation? Okay, when Mrs. P and I drove here from Vegas, move here, okay, it took 4 days to drive. How many days would it have taken if I had to charge my truck? Okay, remember I was towing a boat too. Remember that business trip I had to take out to South Carolina? Wouldn't have made it there on one tank of electricity. So I guess it would have been a 2-day trip. Cars don't charge in 10 minutes. You're talking 8 hours, 10 hours to charge them. Okay. Yeah. How tall is Mrs. P? She is 5'5". Dave Simmons says I'm taller than you. Okay, there we go. I mean, there's Shaquille O'Neal's taller than me. There aren't a whole lot of people. I'm probably in the top 5% for height. Janet, we the people, higher food prices amid higher heating prices. I mean, this is it. We're just going to bankrupt the people. That's all they're trying to do, guys. And once we realize that the government's intention is to bankrupt the individual to make us completely dependent on them, then people wake up. We've all realized that. When the other 99.5% of this country realizes that this is intentional, this is planned, kind of like the plandemic, okay? When they wake up and realize it, then we can fix something. But until we have all these people that walk around like this going, yep, where's my Starbucks? Yeah. Rich Mountains, do pickled yellow peppers require refrigeration? We refrigerate all our peppers we refrigerate all our pickled peppers and pickle them in the refrigerator because we have found that if we try to even water bath can them, they're soft and not. I like a crunchy pickled pepper. So I have not figured out how to can a pepper yet. Maybe using pickle crisp. I haven't tried it, but to get a crunchy pickled pepper. Tealwood's Classic, did I hear about a flower plant that went up in flames? Yeah, I think it was yesterday or day before or something like that. Yeah. Flower dust is explosive, in case you guys didn't know. So that was a dangerous fire. Northern Fool. Whoops. Where'd it go? Hang on. I just got shot to the bottom as soon as I was asking the question. And I'm not going to be able to. Rich Mountains, what the hell are we doing allowing our medicines to be made in foreign countries? We allow everything to be made in foreign countries. We stopped being a manufacturing economy back in the 70s. We decided we were going to be a service economy. Well, that's done us real well. It's going to bite us in the ass. Now, if we don't suck up to these other countries, they're just like, yeah, we'll cut you off. You know, here's the thing: let a country put sanctions on the United States, guys. You see, we put sanctions on Russia, China, Iran, whatever it would be. Let China say we're putting sanctions on the United States. Watch the freaking panic in this country. D. Lewis, my goji berries are blooming. Mine are still rooting. They are looking much better, but I told Mrs. P we'll probably plant them around the 1st of September. I've got them trying to get a decent-sized root ball so we can put them in the ground. Susan Lathrop, do I have a suggestion for a mushroom growing book? No, I do not. This will be the first time I've ever done this. One of you guys had sent me a kit for growing morel mushrooms, and so it's been sitting in my refrigerator for the last 3 months or whatever, because it's just plant them in the fall with a bunch of compost and everything. So I've got waiting for fall, and I will dump a boatload of compost into a 4x4 garden or whatever and try to grow morel mushrooms. We'll see what happens. I've never done it before, so this is going to be a new experience for me. Sandy Hopkins, what about landscape timber? Again, same thing. Take a look and see how it's treated. If it's the green stuff, they used to, like I said, they used to use arsenic. I believe now they're using aluminum, but you still don't want aluminum in your diet. If you can find heat-treated stuff, that's going to be the best way to go. Jen Boyles, I foraged 10 pounds of blueberries, blackberries, and black raspberries last week. It was a ton of work, but yeah, those are so good. I used to do that when I was a kid, too. It wasn't 10 pounds worth, but I get a nice big bowl of them, and it was always, great. Pour a little bit of milk over it, a little bit of sugar on the top, and we're golden. So, yes, our raspberries are growing well. I'm hoping that I will get a decent amount next year. Sorry. Let's see. Misty Woods, I heard they found a lot of baby food at the border. Your thoughts? Well, I mean, we've all seen that video. I think it was in California with the truck driver who had, 42,000 pounds or whatever it was of baby food, and watched him with a bulldozer plow it all into a mound. I don't know why. Was it spoiled? Was it contaminated? What? But there's something shady going on with this whole baby food thing. I have no idea what's going on, but of all things to be short, talk about something that will completely freak out people when you can't give an infant food. I don't know what the intention is there, but there's something when they get to the bottom of this, there better be a lot of prosecutions. Because even if they say, oh, well, it's completely an error. Sorry, no. Those are criminal errors. If you were screwing up that bad, that's a crime. Jen Boyles, tomatoes are coming in slowly here. See, that's the difference, guys, wherever you are. Like I said, mine are about done, right? And you guys are talking, I saw somebody else say they're green, they haven't got red yet. So, a lot of times when people ask me questions about what to do, just because I'm doing it at this point doesn't mean it's the right time for you to do it. So I know most of you guys get that, and I can't answer the question, what do I do if I'm in zone 8 or if I'm in zone 3? I concentrate on knowing my zone. I can't know them all. Romy Davis has put dog hair in your garden, keeps everything out. I mean, maybe that's why I have some luck. I don't know, because dog hair is something that Copper sheds like crazy. So, his dog hair goes into our compost pile. Roddy's roll. I was talking about Bigfoot. Somebody asked about him. Okay. I see. I can't keep up. Because there's no way I can read all the comments, so I lose the context of a lot of the questions. And so when you guys ask a question, it's got to be somewhat specific because as you see, I'm jumping from let's talk about food to let's talk about China to let's talk about medicine to and I can't keep up with the context of everything. Roddy's roll again. Deer got my peanut beans, but thankfully they left the turkey craw beans alone. There you go. Jackie O. Irish Spring soap scares deer. Ditto for rosemary. Yeah, I've heard both are good to use to keep deer away. I mean, I swear by marigolds. So, Sandy Hopkins, green grass is good for plants. Yeah, you guys know I showed you what I did. And I got to go out and mow the lawn probably tomorrow, is I will get out and rake up all the grass clippings all over the place, and I will dump them all in the garden to overwinter so they can rot in the garden and give the worms something to eat on and work as a great weed barrier, mulch, and I'll have a ton of organic matter in my garden next year. So yeah, grass clippings are about the best thing that you can throw in your garden. And if you got leaves in the fall too, chop them up with the grass clippings, even better. Gloria Hubert, if the grid goes down, how will they charge their electric vehicles? See, now you're thinking. Let's get everybody to buy electric vehicles, and then we shut the power off, and now nobody can go anywhere. If they've got gasoline vehicles, we can't control them. If they store gas, they can still move. If they've got electricity, they can't do anything about it. Now, you can charge your electric vehicle off of like those Delta Pros I have. It takes like 18 hours or whatever it is. You could do it, so you're not going to drive around. But it's a control thing, guys. If they control the electricity and you have an electric car, they control you. Remember that. There's a lot of different gas stations and gas companies and everything. There's only one electric company, at least in each area, all right? I don't have a choice of 4 different electric companies that I can pick from. If I want, electric, I get it from Powell Valley Electric. That's my option, okay? If I want gasoline, I can go to Shell, I can go to Mobil, I can go to the grocery store, I can go to Exxon, I can go to Clark, whatever it would be. I've got all sorts of choices. But electricity, I have one. And if they control the one, they control me. 8:57. We got a couple of minutes. Storm Rider, can you use deer scat and compost? Large herd sleeps in my yard and deposit regularly. Probably. I don't see why you couldn't, because deer are vegetarian. They're not eating meat. So, I mean, I've never done it, but I'd bet it'd be perfectly fine. They're not carnivores. NC, saw vid, EVs a whole lot heavier because of the batteries. Think about a vehicle crashes, EV versus gas cars, no good pushing. True. Think about an electrical, we saw the video a couple of weeks ago about that electric bus catching fire, and they couldn't even put the thing out. The heat was so hot. And again, where do you get rid of all these batteries? And if you want to talk about long-term, I can't prove this, okay, but it would not surprise me that electric vehicles are actually worse for the environment than gasoline over the long term. But that doesn't make the environmental terrorists happy. They don't want to hear that. D-Freak, the places I travel to don't even have cell phone service, let alone car changing stations. Exactly. I mean, do you honestly think, I don't know if some of you guys might know this, but like if you drive from LA to Vegas, okay, there's a long stretch of road going through California after you get out of about Barstow, somewhere there, where there's literally nothing. You are driving through just empty desert. and you'll run across a gas station that'll charge a super premium of $2 over the going rate for gas because he's the only thing around. Do you honestly think anybody's going to put a charging station out there? Because think about this, for every charging station there has to be wire run to there. That electricity's got to travel through something. You can't put electricity on a truck and drive it out to it. Okay, so all these remote areas in the majority of the country, how are you going to get electricity out there? They're not going to bring power cables to an electric charging station running the 440 miles it takes to drive from Kansas City, Kansas to the other side. You're driving through cornfield. Nobody's going to run 220 miles of electrical cable so they can put a charging station out there. I mean, this is the stuff they don't think about. And everybody says, well, yeah, but they've got electricity to houses. Big difference, okay? Big difference on running electricity to houses and running electricity to charge batteries like that for a car. All right, I guess that was the last one. It is 9 o'clock, and I don't want to step on Jason's toes. So have a good one, guys. We'll see you in the morning. Go check out Angry Prepper. I believe he's next on the docket. Have a good evening. Pinball out.